Hi, welcome to the Diablo podcast. We are online at diablo8gamers.com. I am the host Flux, and joined us on this show by JrMint
Hello, hello.
and a first-time guest, Katniss,
Aloha.
who is often seen in our forums.
Yes,
And you are not actually an 18-year-old female from a futuristic, semi-apocalyptic world, correct?
Unfortunately, no.
And you just confuse people with your avatar. I've seen a few people like, "Ooh, wow, you look sexy in your avatar." It's like that's a lady from a movie.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. I think I got a private message once that was like, "Hey, if you want to talk sometime, let's talk."
But yeah, your avatar is the main female character from the Hunger Games.
Clearly,
And apparently people haven't seen that and think you're just some girl with an arrow in a forum. Like, ooh, look at her. She's arrows. She's
it's
sexy.
like a real life demon hunter.
Amazon.
Yes, demon
Amazon, of
hunters don't
course.
exist, right?
Not in hardcore.
Nope.
And Junior, man, you've been on the podcast before, but not about the console. Have you been playing? So we're going to get into, this is all about the console this time. I should, in my belated introduction. So you guys have been both playing the console for a couple of weeks, and we're going to talk about first and I guess second impressions and difficulty level and gear and characters and new skills and all kinds of other stuff. And we have a contest. I have at least 3 copies of the Diablo console to give out on PlayStation and Xbox. So at some point during this podcast, we will give a secret code word that you must use in your entry and tell you where and how to enter. And hopefully we'll think of the secret code word before that time comes. So anyway, Junior Mint, when did you get the console? What have you been playing? And it's been 2 weeks. Are you tired of it yet, etc.?
Well, funny. So I didn't even plan on getting the console, and then, as happens a lot with video games with me, I started watching people playing it on Twitch, and convinced myself I had to get it. So I drove around looking for a Toys R Us to get the $45 deal, and have been playing it pretty much every day since it came out. A week and a half, 2 weeks ago now. And after putting 300 to 400 hours into the PC, I was really surprised how much I'm liking it. I mean, it's really, really fun. I don't plan on playing the PC probably much up until the expansion and just playing the console version. So at this point, I'm playing a Barb as a main on the console. I have a Monk as a main on the PC, so I thought I'd do something a little different. So I'm playing a Barb as a main. I'm in Inferno, Paragon level 6 at the moment. I'm not playing a Whirlwind Barb. I've never really enjoyed that. I'm doing Hammer of the Ancients and Rend, and really enjoying that. And I'm loving the drops. I feel like it's what Diablo 3 should have been at release, which I know a lot of people think. I'm currently sitting on two 1300 one-hander legendaries, a Flesh Terror and a Sky Cutter, two one-hand swords, or one-hand sword and one-hand axe, and yeah, I'm just loving it. It's awesome.
Yeah, we'll get into difficulty and specific gear and stuff later, but let's get your first impressions, Cadis.
Yeah, so I kind of similar to Junior Mint, was watching some streamers on Twitch and, didn't really expect to go out and pick it up. But then I pre-ordered at GameStop and started playing it pretty much that same day, Tuesday. Absolutely loved it. First impressions are really just very rewarding. I think I posted a first impression in the forums, and I think it was through normal, clearing Act 1 and Act 4. I got 11 legendaries, and all of them were upgrades. Two of them were a repeat of boots, but it was an upgrade from the previous version. So it was kind of awesome to just see that dropping, when there are all these stories in the forums of people, 100 hours in getting their first legendary, and this was, first 4 hours. So definitely enjoyed it. Started up was a Barb on PC as a main, and did a Barb on console as well. And then I also just recently this weekend rolled a Monk that's up to level 60 now in Inferno farming. And the great thing is about the console is shared Paragon too. So it's not like, I have to get back up to Paragon 20, which I was with my Barb. All of a sudden, the Monk dinked 60, and now we have Paragon 20 again. So it's pretty cool.
Really? So how does that work? You're both Paragon 20. I mean, it's not the Paragon 2.0 system, but you're just sharing a Paragon level?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's account wide. So as you're as you start a new character, you're still level 1, and you're getting, your normal EXP to level up and unlock your skills, runes, whatever. As soon as you hit 60, the Paragon experience system kicks in, and whatever level you were previously, that's what you are now.
So that must be a pretty big jump. I mean, not so much at 20, but once you're Paragon 80 or something, and your first character gets there, immediately you're getting 160 stat points. I mean, to your main stat, etc. So
Yeah,
To
it's go ahead.
to expand on that, one thing I haven't been clear about with that, because I don't have any other characters at 60 yet, is so for example on your you said you had your, I'm sorry, your Barb is your main on the console still.
Hmm.
Yeah, okay, so on the Barb you're level 20, and so you're getting 60 strength from that. So when your monk hits 60, do you automatically get the 60 dexterity from the Paragon level?
You
Have
know,
you known?
I couldn't tell. I didn't look at the character screen like right when I created, or the sorry, the stat screen right when I created the monk.
Yeah,
So I
sure.
couldn't tell if I was getting stats from the Paragon like right away, because I know on the character selection screen it said, level 1 monk, Paragon 20.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was saying like your Paragon is still being held in reserve, or you are benefiting from Paragon 20 right now. I have to look it up again.
Yeah, they've been kind of unclear about it. It would be great if they would come and clarify that, but yeah, I mean it's obviously a benefit one way or another. It'd just be nice to know exactly what's going on.
For sure. And at least in general,
Yeah,
it takes away that penalty of, feeling like I have to main one class and play that forever.
Yep.
yeah, that'd be handy. I mean, especially I'm playing hardcore on the console. I mean, not the non-console, the beta version I'm playing on, and sorry, the alpha version, because this is actually the beta version for the Realm of Secrets, or the hell ROS stands for. But yes, yeah, but I mean, yeah, you die. I mean, I recently had a level 90. I had a Paragon 90 monk die a few weeks ago, which is by far my highest hardcore character. And then it's like, hey, back,
Condolences.
Yes.
yeah. My next highest was a 20 demon hunter. It's like, okay, that's a bit of a drop in magic find and stuff. But yeah, so obviously the console was meant for quicker. All the legendaries you're finding, it's meant to be quicker and more fun, and you level up more faster. Well said. And you don't have to play 4,000 hours with every character. And obviously not. You just get boom. So your second Paragon character is immediately level 20. So then obviously if they level to 25, then your first one is now 25 as well.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, so you're basically, it's almost like, it's shared Paragon kind of, but even quicker because it's less experience required for each level up.
that's a great point.
How long until you have 5 Paragon 100s?
Well, I
A
guess
couple
you
weeks?
wouldn't though,
You
right?
only have
Because,
one. Yeah.
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 So,
Well, as soon as you had one, you'd have 5. You just got to get them to 60.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
And I was actually
But
thinking
it's,
about that this morning, because that's going to definitely not kill the shelf life of the game, but at some point you're going to hit that 100, assuming you keep playing console until ROS or whatever. Um, and then what do you do? It kind of, I don't know, it's weird to have
I,
that shared Paragon implemented, but not have it be infinite too.
I think it's going to take a lot longer to get there on console though, because the amount of mobs in Inferno is not as many as it is in PC. I mean, I think that much is clear. Even in Act 3, which is obviously the best on console to farm, keep depths. I mean, I've run through a couple hallways and keep depths on console and not encountered a single mob. I'll go in there, I'm like, where the heck is everyone? And I mean, the rest of it's been fine, but there's like just areas where I've just encountered zero mobs and keep depths. And I haven't farmed keep on PC in a while, but I never remember just areas of it being completely empty. And I haven't gone back to Act 1 or 2 yet since beating Inferno, but I'm sure that the density is not going to be nearly as it is on PC.
It's
So I
definitely
think
not.
yeah, I think as a result, that's going to take I mean, I've already noticed Paragon leveling is considerably slower on PC on console.
the one curiosity is you don't need Paragon levels as much because you don't need Magic Find or Gold Find to find legendaries. As you guys, you're finding
Yeah,
tons.
that's very true.
I think Randkill said last time he'd found something like 48 or 50 legendaries, getting one character up to like Paragon 4. Do you guys have you been keeping count, or do you have an estimate how many you found total?
I was keeping count, and then I just lost count. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I getting to 60, like before even getting into Inferno, I must have gotten 30 to 40. Like I said, I stopped counting after 10 or 15. And there is been a lot of repeats. Like I got 3 or 4 monster hunters, which is a one-handed sword, and then I got 3 or 4 of a one-handed axe each time going through. So I kind of like that though. It's nice seeing increased stats, at the higher level. That is a cool feature, but it is a little crazy. I think maybe they tuned it a little bit too much in that sense, but it's okay.
Uh,
So same question to you, Katniss, but also what is your gear now? Is it all legendary, or what kind of mixture of rares do you have?
yeah, so again, pretty much similar to Junior Mint. The full playthrough from normal to Inferno has definitely resulted in, hundreds of legendaries. So at some point, you definitely do lose count. You stop keeping track. Um, and now in farming, it's like every zone gives you almost three legend. Like you're surprised if you don't get a legendary in a zone. So it's pretty crazy. And what was the question again? Sorry.
What's your current gear? I mean,
Um,
are you entirely legendaries or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I do use some of the bind on account plans, but it's kind of weird because you'll make a craft and it's pretty good, it's an upgrade or whatever, and then you'll go out and farm and you'll find an upgrade for it like, within 2 or 3 hours of farming. So you're like, why am I even wasting my precious golden materials on making these bind on account things when I can just find the upgrade? So it kind of depends on how patient you want to be. But I was just doing on Uber on Master 4 before we started, and I think it was the Skeleton King and Magda fight drop legendary boots for my Barb, so it was IK boots, which I was actually already wearing, and it was a huge upgrade. So one of the things I was thinking about when we were talking about running out of Paragon levels, it seems like there's also the chance for you to just keep leveling up your gear too in a way because you'll get the same drops because of the class specific targeted drops, but they'll just keep rolling with better and better stats. Like the first version had 180 strength and Vit, and then this one had 330 strength and Vit. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the amount of stats on gear is insane. I have a IK chest with over 400 strength and over 400 Vit. It's pretty bonkers.
Can you guys tell me? Do you know what your DPS and your hit points are, roughly speaking?
Yeah, I can go ahead. So unbuffed, but using passives and things like that on my Barb, I just looked at it. It's like 260k, and then when I go into Wrath the Berserker, Thrive on Chaos, it's over 400k, and using a Radiant Star Amethyst in the helm, I have like 95k health, and then a whole.
How about you? And that's your barb. And what level is that? Paragon 20?
It's Paragon 21. Yeah.
My Barb is 184k unbuffed and only about 53k health right now. I actually just went down about 12 or 13k DPS to gain about 10k health because I had been getting a bunch of upgrades that were DPS increases but losing health. I had like 3 or 4 in a row. I just kept losing health, and I was realizing I needed to get some more health. So I'm at 184k unbuffed DPS and 53k health. So
What level is that barb? Just Paragon 5 or something?
Paragon 6, yeah.
Well, we see who won the EPing contest there. But
Yeah, right.
you got 16 levels to rectify that problem.
Exactly.
Get on your
You need
horse.
some of those, some of those 400 stat rolls, obviously.
Yeah, when I got that IK chest, I was pretty happy because my old chest was a huge upgrade. I actually haven't seen very many set items. I've probably gotten 20 legendaries since I started Inferno, and only like 2 or 3 set items, and only one was an upgrade, which was the IK chest. So I hopefully can build a full IK set. That's what I'm looking forward to doing.
One of the big issues with the non-console version is I did this whole survey of legendary item drop rates, and what really became obvious is that when there are multiple items of the same type, like helms or chest pieces or belts especially, it's really hard to find any specific one, which is why you so seldom find a Mimpo or a Twilight Witching Hour, sorry, for the waist, because there's like barb belts and there's a bunch of set belts, etc. And the question I'm wondering about in the console is now, as you guys are seeing, you get the scaled up low quality legendaries and scaled down high qualities, right? And you find them all throughout. Is that totally diluting the pool of, like you said, you found an IK chest. Are you finding tons of low level, what are low level in the on the PC version anyway, unique chests, and therefore you're finding very few set ones at 63?
The only items that have been skilled up that I've seen are weapons. I have not seen any armor legendaries that have been skilled up. I don't know if that's intentional. It must be because I like this axe I'm using called a Flesh Terror. I got one like around level 30 or 40, and then I got one, with 1300 DPS on it at level 60. But I haven't seen armor that has scaled up. Have you seen that at all, Katniss?
Yeah, actually, so funny story. I found an IK chest as well. I think it was Act 4 right after starting to wrap up the first Inferno clear, and it actually wasn't as good as what I was currently wearing. And I was actually wearing a chainmail, like
That's what I had too.
Chaing. Yeah, but it was like legit. It was like 300 strength, 400 vit, all res, like 85 all res or something, and then 2 sockets. So I was really surprised that the IK chest like wasn't outperforming that at all. And that was obviously a scaled up chest armor. And I've seen some other ones too, like Boj anglers. Those can scale up really well for
Are those
boots.
low level originally? See, I had a pair of Boj anglers I got in like Act 1 Hell around level 50. What level are they in PC?
They're in the 30s or
Okay,
40s.
That
so
would be
I
my
was
guess, yeah.
wrong. Yeah, I didn't even see. I didn't know that. And I had a Chang Mao as well that I got like around level 60. And I guess that's a lower level item, which I didn't realize. So I guess I did have some that scaled up.
The one that you guys want to hunt for is the I'm forgetting the name of it. Ageless Might. It's one of the Barb.
Oh,
Oh, sorry, Pride of
Pride of
Cassius.
Cassius. Yeah, I have one
Yeah,
of those.
that's a 45 bar belt on the PC, and it's got movement speed, attack speed, critical hit chance, critical hit damage on it as
Wow.
defaults.
It is the ultimate farming belt. Like I was looking for an Inna's pants, I forget what they're called, just to get the movement speed so I could have maxed out.
Temperance.
And then Inna's temperance, yeah. So I could get the maxed out movement speed, and then the Pride of Cassius happened to drop, and I was like, well, never unequipping this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's only level 45. So people don't use it on the PC on the PC version because you only get 5 to 6 attack speed and 1% crit chance and up to 20% crit damage. But if you find that in Inferno on the console, it's like 50% to those stats.
Wow. I'm gonna have to look
So
out
there
for
are
that.
some, yeah, there are some scaled up. But yeah, so I guess you guys haven't played enough to know. I mean, once you found 50 legendary helms, if one of them ever is a Mimpo, you'll be like, okay, this is a problem because it's really, really unlikely to fall.
Right. Well, actually, I ran into that issue because you start to notice that certain slots drop a lot more. Like you get so many one-handed weapons in terms
Yes,
of
it's
legendaries.
ridiculous.
It just seems so overtuned for some reason. And then
Yes.
I would say after that, probably a lot of chests and a lot of rings and amulets. Actually, it's funny enough because they're really tough to come by on PC. But I was looking for a new helm forever because I just had a rare helm with crit chance, strength fit, but no all res. And I kept getting blind fates, which are I think it's like a level 20 or 30 originally. They were
Yeah, with the spikes on it, which is it looks cool.
it does look cool, but it's terrible if you want like something for Inferno. Even scaled up, it just wasn't good at all. So I kept getting those, and I would see Helm on the ground, like, all right, this is going to be my Mempo, or this can even be in Darials, which you can't get rid of fast enough on PC. But I couldn't get anything but blind face, and then it just so happened I was like one more run on Wednesday or Thursday night, and then IK Helm finally dropped. So you definitely do see the delusion of the pool with just so many things being able to scale up. It becomes tough to hunt for a certain item, but I think if you pray to Jay Wilson or Josh Mosquito or whoever, you can eventually get what you want.
So, obviously, long term, that'll be a bigger issue with the items and stuff. But what we talked about in the last podcast was about, people were saying the console was going to be loot 1.5, and it's really just loot 1.1 with bigger numbers, right? So,
Well,
and you still just want crit hit and crit chance and crit damage and IAS. Do you think that's going to be a problem long term, where you're just hunting, the exact same loot issues as you see on the PC?
I thought Loot 2.0 wasn't just, I mean, well, part of it was the changes in stats with the, benefiting your skills, but I think a lot of it too is, dropping gear only for your class, which I mean is proven to work. I mean, every single drop I got while leveling just about was an upgrade, or not an upgrade, but itemized for Barb. So I mean, there's that. There's the scaling up of items. I mean, I think that all makes it 1.5. I mean, it'll take it to 2.0 when we see it dropping with the other, with the stats that benefit your skills. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, if they brought this to the PC right now, I would see no reason to use the auction house and be very happy with that. But I mean, I have friends saying, when I'm sending them pictures of my gear, like, well, they're not going to bring this to the PC because then nobody's going to use the real money auction house and Blizzard's not going to get any money. But I'm hoping this is what we'll see on the PC.
So, what do you think, Katniss? Are you missing the auction house?
Not at all, especially since I was doing self-found hardcore previous to this on the PC. So this just feels like kind of a godsend. And I actually think I mean, it definitely will get to a point where you're still seeking a lot of the same, damage modifiers, crit hit chance, crit damage. But I think because some of these scaled up items that we haven't familiarized ourselves with because no one uses them, they kind of open up new builds in a way because I have like this ancient bone saber. This is like one of the most popular one-hand weapons that everyone's talking about because it's similar to an echoing fury, but it can roll up to like 1700 DPS. It has that plus APS
How much does yours
modifier.
have?
I have a 1695
Wow.
ancient bone saber. It's just ridiculous with lifesteal and stuff. But what I've noticed is using frenzy and the smite rune, like I can literally stun lock anything because I think my native attack speed is like 2.6, and then when you're fully stacked up on frenzy, it probably goes up to like 3.6 or something like that. So I literally don't even use like Hammer of the Ancients all that often because you're attacking so often, you're getting so many crits and so many stuns that the mobs just aren't doing anything, and then they're dying pretty much as fast as if you were to hold to smash them down. So I feel like it's kind of changing my build in a little bit of a different way.
Is that
So
I've
this is
heard?
the
I'm sorry. I've heard rumors that that bone saber is exclusive to console. Is that item not on PC?
I'm looking at it right now. I just checked it. It's level 45, legendary sword, the ancient bone saber of
Oh,
Zumaculus,
that's why
and
nobody's
that
seen
is on
it.
the console. It's got a default of arcane damage plus dexterity, life leech, attack speed, and +1 random magical affix.
Yeah,
So it's just a one-handed sword with IAS basically.
as Katniss said, I mean that has been the highest rolling one-hander by far. Every stream I watch is using one. It's usually that and a echoing fury. I still have yet to get mine. I every time I see a one, what is it? A sword, right? So
Yeah.
Legend,
still, yeah.
legendary sword.
I'm really hoping to get mine here soon.
Yeah, on the PC it's 112 to 142 damage, so really useful there. It's a little bigger on the console, I believe. Add a zero there, roughly.
Pretty much.
I wonder if that's intentional. I mean, this is what I'm slightly concerned about is that Blizzard is going to issue a patch in a month or two and say, "Oh, this is all overtuned and it's going to go back." I mean, it's just going to go down somewhat. I don't know. I mean, this might be me being paranoid, but some of this just seems crazy, you know.
See, I don't know. In my speculator's mind, I feel like this could actually be kind of what they wanted to see in terms of the numbers getting bigger before ROS comes out. Because let's say that, I mean, they are going to do this. They're going to make it so low-level legendaries can scale up in whenever they release the pre-expansion patch. So this is already letting them know what people's stats are going to kind of look like and what potential items can roll up to and whatnot. And I think that'll help them to determine, all right, well, characters are easily doing 300k DPS without, putting buffs on or whatever. We're going to need to adjust the difficulty or the health of mobs or whatever. And this isn't even accounting for like level 70 items and things like that. So to me, it seems sort of like a test of what are the realms of possibilities before ROS.
Yeah, like Flux said, it's like a beta, so they're just overtuning it and then seeing what works and then adjusting for the PC. I think that makes sense too. Yeah.
So speaking of the difficulty levels, obviously if the numbers are bigger, maybe that's because the game is harder and you need bigger stats, which in theory that'll certainly be the case with ROS, right? I mean, you're going to get a whole other act and it's going to be level 70 monsters, so you'll need bigger stats to survive, much like happens in Diablo 2 expansion. So how are you guys finding the difficulty level? We should, I guess, briefly mention that you can pick what easy, medium, easy, normal, and hard to start with, but those aren't actually monster power levels because they don't really change any of your, they don't increase your EXP or gold find or anything, right?
Well, they're
Correct.
monster levels in terms of difficulties, though. They do not increase the EXP or anything. But
And then there's 5 actual monster power levels.
okay, so medium is monster power 2, hard is monster power 4 in terms of just difficulty, but no other benefits. And then master 1 is MP 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10 is 2 through master 2 through 5. So that's how they break it down. And then you start getting the benefits of XP and gold find and magic find at master 1 and up.
So the lowest master is basically monster power 5, basically.
Essentially, five.
6. It's 6. The
Yeah.
lowest master is monster power 6, not 5.
But you know what?
Yeah,
I feel like it's that in terms of difficulty, like, if they want to say that the mob's HP and damage are about Monster Power 6 equivalent, but I think in terms of like hunting for keys, for instance, I tend to get like next to no keys on Master 1, and that's supposed to be a 60% rate if it is Monster Power 6. So I think there's some weird, like it's not exactly equivalent in a way.
I saw a forum post. Someone was saying that apparently it's 5% keys until you get to any master power at all.
I don't.
So easy, normal, and hard are as though you have zero monster power on the PC.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get any keys drop when I did my first normal run through of Inferno.
Same.
Um, so I mean that could very well be. I don't know. But now that I'm running Master Two, um, I'm running Master Two, and I've gotten a key every time. So
Wow.
I don't know. I guess it's just lucky.
RNG.
Yeah, exactly.
I've missed keys in multiple runs on MP on a Master 4 even, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
How much
Well, that means
resist do
it
you
just means
run
you're due.
for MP4? Master 4?
Um, so I pretty much only use Master 4 when I'm doing Ubers, so that's Act 1 pretty much exclusively.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I use Warcry with impunity on that one too, just to boost it up a little bit more. So I think it's in the 600s or so, but also like pretty high armor too. I mean, just because like everything is just crazy. So, armor, the native armor on a lot of your pieces is just
Yeah.
generally higher too. So I was
Yeah.
running with like 11,000 armor at one point. I was just like, this is too much. So
That's ridiculous.
I dropped one of the passives that was helping that out, and then, was able to pick up some more damage because I think I was running Tough as Nails instead of Weapon Master or something. But to kind of go to the question, I'd say that because the stats and everything are scaled up, you definitely feel overpowered, especially in like Master 1 and Master 2 after you've farmed for quite a bit. But going up into Master 4, like I die on the SiegeBreaker and Cool fight pretty often. And they actually changed that fight a little bit too. So the tornadoes that Cool puts out, they stay very close to him, almost in like they kind of like form a cross, I guess you could say, because there's one on
Yeah.
his left, one on his right, top, bottom. But there's always a side that's open, so you can kind of get into attack. But they stay around forever. So even when he moves away from that area, he'll spawn like three or four more. And so you really have to kind of be conscious of where you're standing and like your movement and things like that. So that kind of is a little bit different as opposed to your just tank and spank on PC.
Are you doing these Ubers solo though?
Yeah, so I haven't touched.
Because that's the one hard Uber solo though, just because you don't have anyone else to distract the asshole. But
That's true.
In the SiegeBreaker on the Ubers, I haven't done it yet. Does he have the ads like he does in the regular version?
No, no. That's
Okay.
that's actually you could definitely talk about that. That's a pretty cool thing that they added to SiegeBreaker.
Yeah, I mean
What?
it's not that much. It's just that those big creatures that drop. I can't think what they're called. The demonic hellbearers or something. The big creatures that are like snakes that spit out demon troopers. They show up on Siegebreaker, and if you take a while to kill Siegebreaker, there's quite a few ads that show up. But I've usually been able to kill them fast enough in the times I've killed them. But yeah, they added ads to a number of fights. I'm blanking on the other ones. Oh, Belial. They added ads on Belial as well. Uh,
so he gets minions now.
yeah,
More
those little
snakes.
snake guys show up at some point during the fight. So yeah, they just randomly added ads on various fights.
So this is the regular Siegebreaker, not the Uber, but in Act 3, you're fighting him, and
Yeah,
there's other dudes coming out of those vomiting troop carrier things.
yeah,
Hmm.
they show up pretty much right away. Yeah.
That was one of my questions, or any of the other boss fights. I mean, they mentioned Belial was different because the lower camera angle makes it look different, but
I,
he also gets little snake helpers. Anything else changed?
I just got to say too about Belial. I think that first time I did it, like I saw that video in the commercial, but it looks so awesome. I think it was a great change to the Belial fight. It just looks a lot cooler as well.
It's really cool. And even like you're fighting them and stuff, but I would just start kind of running randomly around just to see the camera change because it's so cool. It's like, wait, I'm not fighting him right now. I'm just mesmerized by this.
Yeah, it really is. It really is neat.
So you just get a lower angle view and you can see his torso and stuff instead of just like his shoulders and head and arms.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
camera's like more behind, like directly behind you, almost like in a third-person shooter. Like if you imagine like Gears of War or something, it's almost that camera angle.
And how does that change the general gameplay? The guys last time were saying it makes it seem like you're moving faster because you see less of the screen. How does it work when you're going down? Can you see what the hell you're doing if you're fighting going, towards the bottom of the screen?
You can see where the explosions are, like during his phase
I don't
where.
I don't mean just Belial, I mean just in general on that.
Well, Belial's the only fight where they pulled that camera way down like that. I, I
Yeah.
I mean, in general, it is more zoomed in, and I don't think that affects anything. Belial's the only time where they completely changed the camera angle, unless I'm forgetting something.
Yeah, I think that's right. And just speaking in general, gameplay, now that I'm using my monk a lot, it's actually really sweet to use Fist of Thunder with that lets you teleport all over the
Oh
place.
yeah, yeah,
Because now that it's pulled in a lot more, which took some getting used to for sure, but you don't really recognize that it's different after you've been playing for a while. You just feel like you're zipping all over the zone. It's kind of amazing. Like I doubt that it lets you go further than you can in the PC, but for some reason it seems like I can just target a mob that's like way far away and just punch him. Then I'm like, all right, I'm going over here, target this guy, target this guy. It's like DBZ fighting or something.
yeah. I completely
Any other
agree.
any other skills you've noticed feel different?
Hmm.
Of course, you're only playing barbarians, so that limits our options here. But
All right. Um,
did you feel there weren't enough barbarians in Diablo 3 already? So you need to try to help that.
yeah.
That was your main goal there.
Well, RIP to all the barbs now.
Yeah, well,
Um,
that's just a real pity, isn't it? Oh wait.
so
Let me
sad.
back up
Yeah,
slightly to the difficulty thing again, really quick. I can't remember if it was stated in the first podcast, but it can't be understated that in Inferno, the elite packs still only have 3 affixes instead of
Mm.
4 on the PC, and that just makes it so much easier. I mean, it's crazy how big a difference that makes. I mean, I've only encountered 1 or 2 packs on MP7 that have been that difficult in terms of affixes, so that's another thing that's definitely dumbing it down for the console and making it a lot easier. So.
And I really wonder if that's done because they want it to be easier, or if because it couldn't just handle like 4 fixes, like that much stuff on the screen.
Yeah, that's quite possible. I bet it's a little of both.
maybe it couldn't deal with Molten and Arcane and Frozen and other, Plagued all at once or something.
I'm okay with that.
Actually,
And neither could your barbarian probably.
and that's a good point too, because you're asking about skills, and this isn't necessarily like specific to a certain skill, but I've noticed that if you overload the assets on the screen, like let's say you're doing an Act 3 Rakkus Crossing run or something, I'm using Overawe, mantra of was it conviction, Overawe, and sweeping wind with all the tornadoes. And literally, like I can't see that I have sweeping wind on me because the asset just like stops loading. Like there'll be so many things on the screen, dropping a bell, punching
Yep.
with Fist of Thunder, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, is sweeping wind still up? Like I can't tell.
Yeah, I've noticed that with Rend also. When you put Rend on a ton of targets, it doesn't show up on a lot of them. I wasn't sure what was going on with that, but that's I'm sure what it is. Yeah.
What platform are you guys on? PC or Xbox? I mean, a PS or Xbox?
Uh,
PS3.
yeah, PS3 here. I wanted the PS3 specific items, which are really cool also. So
Mm-hmm.
So are you eagerly waiting for the PS4 with increased performance and everything else?
I probably will triple dip. Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really hoping Blizzard carries over the save and whatnot, but they haven't said anything. But I have to think they will. And
Shut up and take your money, huh?
yeah,
Please.
pretty much.
So neither of you guys have done any multiplayer at all on in couch rules or online?
No, not yet. I actually just had a friend text me on Friday that they just picked up Diablo 3 on the PS3. I was like, oh, sick. So I'm hoping to put a character on a USB stick and then head over there to see what it's like on the couch. So maybe I'll have to revisit that at some point.
Yeah, I haven't done any multiplayer yet either. I'm hoping to do some couch co-op with my brother or sister. All my friends, as I've said a few times, I'm a former WoW player, so all my friends play WoW and refuse to buy any other games. So yeah, they all play WoW. And I haven't had a chance to play any couch co-op, and I haven't ventured online at all. With all the rumors about hacking and everything, I have no interest in going into that arena. So.
That's the same for me, honestly. And it's not even rumors, it's confirmed. Like people are making their own items. I think someone said there's like a 3-socket sword out there now, and there's just all sorts of ridiculous stuff. So I don't know. I feel like I want to keep my characters clean, if you will, in scare quotes.
Yeah, I was going to ask about hacking, but you guys haven't done online stuff. And as you say, there's people who are doing it already.
And I've never really been crazy about playing Diablo with randoms anyway. It just makes me so mad when I'm out farming and somebody comes in the game and just sits there in town and never comes in. So then all the mobs are harder. So unless it's with, your own group, I just as well listen to a podcast and play solo.
Will you listen to yourself on a podcast while you're playing? Would that be too weird?
Break
You
down
can
the
listen to
third
this
wall.
podcast while you're playing. Oh, good point. Oh, that's me. No wonder.
That guy is
That's one thing
awesome.
about Diablo. It's got to be the greatest listening to something else game ever. It's like I love that.
Have you done any multi-boxing, basically? I mean, because you can drag other characters along. Have you been leveling up other characters while you're playing your mains, or it's all solo?
I literally only have one PS3 controller, so it's not even
Well, get another controller for God's sake.
possible. I might have to get on that. Yeah.
Yeah, all you need is a second controller. Like I've heard about people doing that. You just press start on the other controller, and you can just leave someone in town. What I've wondered about with that is how does that person get their gear though? So like that person would be like level 30, say, in an hour, but then they don't have any gear. So I don't know what you would do then. That just seems a little weird.
Well, because when you're playing another someone else on the same screen with you, it drags them along. If they're just standing there,
I'm
It
I'm pretty
teleports.
sure they stay in town. I thought they stayed in town.
I mean, if they're on the screen with you when you leave when you're out in the dungeons, though, it warps them constantly up to where you are. So that's when we were
Oh,
experimenting when I played it at Blizzard,
oh,
which is actually
gotcha.
kind of funny because I was playing on a two-player with somebody else, and he was like way off the edge of the screen, and it warped him up to me right when I got to a pack of arcanes, and he just like appeared in the middle of them, like it was a vortex almost on his character
Oh,
because I got so far ahead. I had like more faster run stuff, so he got tired of trying to keep up. He would just stand there in empty areas, and I would just run. It would just pop him up every 50 yards or so. He'd just pop up to catch up to me.
I think that's only in
But it's
couch co-op though, not in online.
Yeah, that's only in couch
Yeah,
co-op.
right.
Well, you guys are on a couch, so at least in theory. Are
Right.
you actually playing on a couch? What are you sitting in while you guys play?
Couch.
Yeah, I've been playing while horizontal, which is the most amazing thing. Like I'll get home, I get home after work, I'm just tired as hell. I'm like, let's just lay down here and play some Diablo. So sweet.
So, one of the other people were wondering about the difficulties of it. Are you getting different forms of carpal tunnel syndrome now? Your thumbs are getting a workout instead of your mouse wrist?
Oh my God, dude, my left thumb, like I actually have been rubbing the side of it this weekend because it hurts so badly. Maybe
I'm
I'm just
used to it.
weird.
I mean, I'm a console gamer as well as a PC gamer, so I'm used to using controllers for longer stretches of time, so it doesn't bother me really.
Lucky.
Do you have any problems with the Cheetos and the Mountain Dew getting inside the controller?
You do have to be conscious of your snack choice when you're playing. Like I have my beer on my right side, and if I ever move it to the left, I'm like, well, I can't control my character while I drink my beer. What's going on?
I think it's
Yeah.
Doritos and Mountain Dew. Get it right.
So, how are you guys doing on the controls? You've obviously gotten used to it by now. Are you using the evade more? Does it seem like a natural thing? You can't believe you never had it on the PC?
I love it. That's one thing I'm concerned about when the expansion comes out. I'm gonna have to like practice for a few weeks before it comes out because I'm so used to using evade to break barrels and get around the world. Like I don't know if you're actually moving any faster. I don't think you are, but it's just so addictive to just roll around everywhere you go and break barrels. I think the controls work perfectly.
And neither of you guys have played a ranged attacker, because when I was playing it at Blizzard, Evade seemed like it was fantastic to use with a ranged attacker, because you could continue you could keep aiming left while you rolled right or something like that. It doesn't even matter that much with a barb or a monk, I would guess.
I started a demon hunter and then decided I wanted to play a barb, and I got a demon hunter through the Fields of Misery quests. And I was really not crazy about the targeting for ranged. It was a little annoying. I didn't actually know about the locking onto a target pressing L2, where you can lock onto a target until I actually listened to the last podcast. So when I go back to leveling a demon hunter or something, I'm definitely going to utilize that. But it felt a little weird doing a ranged character, and definitely would take some getting used to.
Yeah,
How are you with the Evade, Katniss?
and I guess I'm just the bad console player because I can't. I've tried to use L2 to lock onto the target, and it just feels like I'm holding too many buttons. I forget like what I'm holding. So
Well, that is your beer hand, so
that's true. I can't drink this.
yeah.
So I used the roll a lot to start out, just because it was so novel and because it was useful for breaking barrels and stuff. But I actually found that I literally never use it in a farming run in Inferno, just because I almost feel like it's slowing me down. I guess you still move at the same movement speed, but I don't know. It's not something I intuitively think, oh, I'm standing in plague. Let me hit this evade stick and roll out of it. Like I kind of I'll leap or sprint out of it or whatever.
Can you guys dodge frozen with it yet?
No.
You can,
'Cause
can't you? Because you
it
haven't.
will dodge frozen. Yeah, if you roll right when they burst,
Oh,
you
I
will
never
dodge them.
tried that. Okay.
You have invincibility frames, right?
Yeah, I guess however long. I mean, you can still get hit by arcane and plagued and stuff, but you know, like some burst things you can dodge that way. So it's something to work on next time.
That's right.
And what about the economy? I mean, obviously there's not really an economy in terms of trading because there's no auction house, and neither of you play with other people because you live alone and no one likes you. Wait, that's not right.
Pretty much.
But you're playing you're playing. So how is the gold working for affording upgrades and affording repairs? You need fewer gyms to upgrade gyms all the way, right? It's only two all the way to the top instead of three.
That's correct.
So how much gold do you have lying around, and do you need more? And
I am sitting on 3 million gold. It's really like you essentially determine what you need based on what you need. And it's just a dumb way to say, like, you need materials, you salvage all your rares or magics or whatever you're picking up. If you need gold, you sell everything. So it kind of comes in waves. Like, I'll play for a day and just salvage everything. And then the next day I'll play and pick up everything and just sell it. So that way I have a little bit of both. But if I notice I'm trying to craft and the stopgap is not having enough essences or tiers or whatever, then I'll start salvaging exclusively. And then if I notice, oh, I have way too many mats and not enough gold, then I'll sell. But you can actually make a lot of gold just from picking stuff up too. Like I played when I was leveling up the monk this weekend, normal to Inferno, I think I made like almost 1 million gold just from pickups. So, and I wasn't spending anything. I wasn't crafting or anything like that.
Yeah, I have about 400,000 gold at the moment. I crafted about 10 Archon Shoulders of Vitality yesterday, looking for an upgrade because, like I said, I was losing a lot of health, and finally got one. But yeah, I mean that's one weird thing is that the Archon plans. I know the shoulders I think were 75,000 a piece. Even though there's no auction house to make much more gold from, it seems like you can lose your savings pretty quickly by crafting a lot of Archon plans. So I'll probably save up now until I get the Archon Gloves plan, which I really want to get because I'm sitting on using Tasker and Theo gloves right now, which are bright green and driving me crazy. So I want to get some crafted plans. Do those
Spoken like a
always
true
roll?
WoW player.
Yeah, I know. Do those always roll bright green? Like it's really annoying.
I never equipped them. I found a ton of those on the PC and always just sell them, throw them
I
away. I've
know
never
they're
gotten any
garbage
even
on the
worth
field.
selling.
Are
Yeah,
you
they're
guys ready
garbage.
for this? I've been using Tasker and Theos on my monk, and I actually unequipped them for, get ready for this, Gladiator gauntlets.
Oh wow.
Lovely.
They're actually an upgrade, unbelievably. They're really
Were
good
your
They,
on the console, actually.
were your Tasker and Theos green?
I can't remember. I wasn't looking
Like
that
that's
close.
one thing they need to add is dying of legendaries. It's like, why is that something you don't do, Blizzard? Like, what is the big deal? Just let us die legendaries.
because there's like textures and they have to redo all the art. That's what they always say
Oh,
anyway.
give me a break.
You can dye them with invisible dye, vanishing dye,
Oh,
and then you won't see them.
you're,
They turn up.
That's your only
they
option.
let you
They're either
use
on or
that?
off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
might actually do that because yeah.
yeah. You can invisible dye legendaries now. I did that with Vile wards, whatever those shoulders with the giant stupid horns are,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because they tend to look stupid if you, especially if you're wearing a Mimpo,
Yeah, those shoulders do look
because
pretty
like the
stupid.
horns are overlapping each other.
And
Uh,
speaking of invisible dying things too, there are some like dumb things on the console that are kind of annoying in terms of interface. If you want to use invisible dye on some of your gear, you actually have to unequip it in order to do it, which I don't think you have to do on the PC. And
and then you can't find it after you've done that.
right, and then it's gone. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
Wonder Woman
invisible.
trying to find her jet.
That's
Uh,
funny you mentioned that. Did you have trouble when you were first trying to put gems on your follower? I could not figure out how to do it for the longest time. And then I realized I had to unequip the follower, put it in my inventory, and then put the gem in it. Like in console, of course, you can just drag it, but excuse me, in PC you can drag it, but in
right.
console I struggled with how to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things. Like even when you're trying to salvage stuff, you can't look at its specific stats. So you can
Yeah,
only see like the green arrows or the red arrows, and you're like, all right, I guess I looked at this and I decided I was going to salvage it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so as you're finding stuff, you can mark it as trash, right?
Hmm.
And so you just kind of keep up with that when you pick it up. You don't do you wait until all 60 when you go to town, or do you keep more organized?
I do my legendaries in the field, so I'll ID them, and then if it's clearly just a downgrade and I'll never use it, I just mark it as junk. But I'll wait to do like the rares and stuff back in town once I'm fully full.
I'm a little obsessive compulsive about that. I don't usually let myself go over like 40 things in my bag. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's getting so full. I need to go empty it. So that's usually what I do.
The guys last time said it seems like they have more storage space because items only take up one slot a piece instead of, two slots for most things. Are you feeling like you have more space in your stash and your bag because of that?
No, I was just gonna say yeah, pretty much. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think it depends how far along you are in the game, because once you start to get a decent amount of Paragon and just magic find on your gear and stuff, like rares are dropping nonstop, and it's kind of funny because I think the console is employing the idea of less loot, better loot. But once you do have like a conceivable amount of magic find and like I said, Paragon levels too, you do find that anything that does drop is a rare. So and you can't tell what the things are. I don't know if anyone's mentioned this previously, but all the rares come pre-identified. So whenever you see something on the ground, it's just the name of it. It'll be like ground pounders or
I'm not crazy about the overall UI. I don't. I'm not crazy about the way that the gear, the inventory set up. I, I mean, it's fine. The specific gear and specific slots, but I think there should be an option to see everything you have at the same time. Um, so I'm not crazy about that. I don't know about you at Katniss.
But how would that work on the console?
I mean, there could be a. I mean, I don't see why they couldn't have just a screen with like the stash and on the PC that just showed all your items sitting there as icons. I don't see why that's a big deal.
I don't know if I find the need for that. Like I could understand what you're saying, like if they just put it in a grid and you can use the directional arrows to like mouse over all of it, if you will.
Yeah.
But I think it works well with the radial system and having it all broken out. I think the one thing that I do dislike is when you're stashing everything, you can't see it all at once. You have to scroll through. And
Yeah.
if I'm trying to do a comparison of like, well, do I want to use this sword or this sword on my offhand or whatever? Um, it's kind of tough to remember like, well, this gave me, 3 arrows versus 2 arrows and whatnot. So
I do love that arrow system though. Like it just gives you at a glance whether it's an upgrade or not. I think that's genius. I really enjoy that.
especially out in the field too, because when you're picking stuff
Exactly.
up, you can get like really excited, like, ooh, that has one green arrow. Like, I wonder what it's
Yeah.
going to be.
Yep.
So your inventory and your stash, you don't actually see a grid, you just see numbers, right? You just cycle through every individual item, left or right.
Yeah, like you have to go to your helm and then it'll show like your 3 rare helms you picked up, with the arrows, and then you have to press square on the PlayStation controller to see the stats on it. So until you press that, it'll just show you the arrows, and then if you want to see it more in depth, then you press the button. And it's like that for each equipment slot.
So how do you put stuff, can you assign stuff to your inventory and your stash by what number you want? Like can you put all your swords from like 100 to 120 or something, or it doesn't work that way?
That'd be nice, but you
No,
can't.
not
No.
at all. You have
So
to
the only
get
way you can see what, yes, you have to look at an item of the same type and then it shows you all the other ones you have of the same type.
yes.
Well, that's not as much fun.
No, it's you have to like, and if you want to put it in your stash, you have to go to the sword thing, and then it puts the sword into the sword section of the stash, and then etc. It's not ideal, but I mean it works just fine. It's just you know first world problems.
Right.
You're not forgetting what you have and like, didn't I have a two-handed sword somewhere and trying to find it? But you don't have to go through the whole stash. You just look at any sword you have and then it shows you comparisons.
Yeah, I mean your UI always starts on the sword page, so you could definitely like forget about a bracer or something quite easily, I would think.
Well, what if you weren't a barb? What if you're a demon hunter? You're never using swords. Does it start on the bows page then?
Yeah, it starts on your weapon always.
Oh, yeah, your main hand. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. So, any final thoughts? We're going to mention the contest here in a minute. If you've been listening to this whole show, saying, "When is the contest? When is the contest?" You guys are just enjoying it, obviously, and you're not dying to go back to the PC.
I won't be
Yeah.
going back till Reaper of Souls.
Same thing here. Amen. Like I feel like the console is just the the rate of reward is so good. Even still, like I think I have maybe close to 100 hours now or something. Um, and the rate of reward is still there. Obviously, it helps that I started another character, and I think I don't know if like Blizzard is watching or something, but it seems like right when you're starting to really hit a slowdown in upgrades, you'll get something that's good for another character. Like I just found a Dead Man's quiver for a DH, obviously, and I was playing on my Barb, and I was like, maybe I'll start that DH now.
Didn't it have 400 strength on it though?
No, that's the thing though. I think the class specific, or maybe I don't know, the class specific stuff like rare quivers, they do sometimes roll with random extra strength and stuff. But I think if it's a legendary that's specific for, like this is a legendary quiver for DHs, it was just like 400 Dex, 400 Vit, and some other stuff.
Well, all quivers are only for DHs though. It's a class specific item, but
Similarly, I got a legendary fist weapon on my barb that I saved for a monk. I'm gonna level up, but I mean they do drop. I mean, actually, come to think of it, that might be the only legendary I've ever gotten that wasn't itemized for my barb. They haven't all been upgrades, but every legendary other than that fist weapon, I'd say, has been itemized for a barb. Actually, no, actually this morning I got a staff as well with ridiculous stats, intellect stats on it, but so that's two legendaries out of like 100 that have not been, itemized for your character. So it's pretty.
yeah, Randkill said that he had to switch his follower because he was playing a witch doctor and all he was finding was plus int gear, and he was playing a Templar or a scoundrel, I forget which,
Yeah,
but
that is
but
tough.
he all
Yeah,
yeah, so he had to switch to an enchantress because he was never getting anything useful for his follower.
And
yep,
it's
I've
funny.
noticed
So it
that as well.
yeah, so it seems like it'll be hard to build up twinks if all you ever find is plus with plus strength stuff with your barb. But you said you found one monk thing at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to twink because the second you get into Fields of Misery and Festering Wood, you're going to start getting legendaries. So
It's very true. And I even had a level reduced sword that had mostly strength on it and a little bit of dex. I used that once I hit like level 44 on my monk. So it was, really hardy with armor and stuff. But I mean, you really didn't even really need it because you're just getting stuff that's useful for you all the time.
yep,
Yeah, first world problems there, huh?
exactly.
Amen.
So you guys sound pretty positive on the whole. For the contest, you guys don't need another copy because you've already got one, but we have some copies from Blizzard, and what I'm going to say to do is it's going to be write a haiku, the standard form. What is it? 575 syllables? I think that's how it goes.
575, yeah.
Yeah. And you must use a name of a Diablo character at some point in the haiku. And yes, that counts for your syllables. So maybe you don't want to go with a necromancer or you're half done already, but
Look forward to reading those.
It's gonna
but
be
you
fun.
can do Diablo 1 or Diablo 2 or you can even do followers. I'll be open on this, whatever. Enchanters, you're almost done again, but and you need to put that in the comments thread on the Diablo Inc. Gamers news post about this podcast. I will put a link to that for the guys on YouTube. You'll have a link to that, or else just go to the Diablo Inc. Gamers and do it fairly quickly. This should be posted on Monday, and you need to do it. I'll pick winners later this week, and I will post winners in the news post at some point. And obviously, you have to contact you need to check back to that to see if you win, so you can contact me and give me your mailing address, so I can send you the stupid game. And if not, you won't win it. I'll give it to someone else.
Or play
And
it
it's some I'll,
yourself.
I'll I don't have a console. I'll do some kind of first come first serve because if all three of you win Xboxes, that's a problem because I have one Xbox and two PS3s, so we'll see how that works out. But everybody owns both consoles anyway, right? You guys do that, right? Oh wait, no, you don't.
Yeah,
Womp womp.
So what final thoughts? What are your immediate future plans for the console? Are you dying to start a new character? Or are you gonna get your barbs to P60 or what's your goal, Katniss?
I think I'm actually just gonna reserve my barb for doing Ubers. I still need a good Hellfire ring on either of them. But I just love, I think the monk gameplay translates really well to the console. Just super fast paced. So I'm probably just gonna keep playing that until I get bored of it or until I find like another sick item for a wizard or something. And yeah, just keep doing that. I'm definitely shelving the PC version until ROS, especially since there's rumors of ladders. So
More than rumors. So what are your plans, other person?
I'll definitely keep going back to my barb. I mean, it is. I have been having a good time with it, but I just started a monk tonight before the podcast that I just beat Skeleton King on, so I'll definitely be playing that. Keep thinking I'm going to play a wizard because that's the one class in Diablo 3 I've never played with any degree, with any regularity. So I hope to start up a wizard. I got them to like level 20 or something on the PC and they didn't click for me. So I'm hoping it'll click for me this second time around here. So we'll see.
Yeah, you guys need to either trade like your PlayStation Gamer Network consoles or something, or play with some friends because all of the selling points for the console, well not all of them, but a lot of them was multiplayer, couch rules. It's so fun with friends,
Yeah,
and
Katniss.
nobody I've talked to has done any multiplayer. So it's like,
Yeah, me and you should play Katniss. How about
We
that?
actually should, yeah. I
Yeah.
I hope you. I know you won't hack, right?
No, no.
And you have like a
well you
3,000
well you,
DPS bone saber.
yeah, one of you's got the bigger E-peen, so one of you is hacking already apparently.
Clearly him.
Well, that's how it is when you play online game. Anybody who's got better stuff than you is obviously cheating. So
It's so true.
it makes it's like when you go to the gym, and if anybody's more muscular, it's like, oh, he's on steroids.
Pretty much.
I'm all natural. That guy's a roid rager. It's not just because he works harder. But anyway, so thanks for your time, guys, and enjoy your consoling. And we will not see you on the P on BattleNet anytime soon.
Probably not.
And you've been listening to the to the Diablo podcast. We are online at diablo8gamers.com and Moo.
Moo.
Ooh, cat level coming.
Have either of you secret leveled on the console?
I
Yes.
cannot get the damn guy to show up in Caverns of Frost. Like, I've been through there so many times. He's like, "Nope, I'm not showing up. Screw you." I'm like,
You
"Screw
know,
you too,
You
buddy."
know there's only three of them, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Okay, good. You're not looking for the rainbow, liquid rainbow, right?
that's
should
the
be
one
looking
in
for
the
a long time.
Oasis, right? The liquid
Yeah.
rainbows. Yeah, no, I haven't. I never even got that on PC. I just like, screw this.
No, I
And now you don't. Now you never will because it's not there. Okay, guys. Moo. Good night.
All right, see you,
move.
Flux.